I have in front of me here an 8-way DC power splitter cable, okay? So basically if we look at this, on the input side we have a 2.1 millimeter DC socket, and on the output side we have 8 2.1 millimeter DC jacks, okay? So what's the purpose of this cable? The basic idea of it is to take the input from a single power unit and be able to feed up to 8 normally cameras, but possibly you could have a DVR in the mix here as well, okay? And why would we use this cable? Well, the benefits of using a cable such as this are twofold. The first thing is there's a cost saving, okay? So instead of needing a power unit for every single camera, we can use a cable like this to power a number of cables. The second thing is it's a much neater solution. Rather than having power units everywhere, we have a single power unit. Well, what power unit would we require to power something like this? Well, normally with something like this, because there's 8 outputs on it, you'd need a minimum of 3 and often a 5 amp power unit, okay? So if we look, we'll say, at the power unit that came with this DVR here, it's actually 3 amp and 12 volt, okay? And then what's the power requirement of the cameras? Well, depending on the camera, normally it's less than 300 milliamps, okay? So you can see here that even with 8 cameras there, it only comes out in at about 2.4 milliamps, or 2.4 amps, okay? So what I've done here for the purpose of this demonstration is, instead of feeding this power unit directly over here to the thing, into the DVR, I've actually just come along and I've split, we'll say, I've used the power unit here and I've split, using this cable, one of the 8 outputs. I've just fed it directly into this DVR to power. And if we look on the screen here, we can see we have the output from the DVR, but no camera is currently connected. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to just use one of the output ports here, such as this one here. I'm just going to feed it directly into, feed this here. Now normally what I try to do here is, most times when people are connecting this, they probably do it with everything powered off, power unit not connected. So that's it. So we have our first camera here connected anyway. But what you can see here is we have these extra ports here. So if we had, let's say, an 8-way DVR here, we could actually just start coming along and connect up to 7 additional cameras on it. Now, often we'll say you'll have a situation where the cameras are going to be remote from the DVR. So you might have runs of cables, or you might make a decision to have, we'll say, in blocks. In terms of a certain number of cameras being powered off each power unit, but this gives a capacity of up to 8. So what other cables come within the range? Well, at the lowest end of the range we have this 4-way splitter, and this proves to be very, very popular on our website, and also this 5-way splitter. And the big advantage of the 5-way is if you're using it with a 4-way DVR, you can actually power the 4-way DVR and the 4 cameras off a single power unit, okay? The 8-way is less popular simply because most people don't have 8 cameras, but it's perfect for situations where that's your actual requirement. So that's it anyway, an overview of the 8-way DC splitter cable that's available on the tvtrade.ie website.